Opta Joe says Tom Kearney has scored away from home from the Premier League for the first time since March 2010, with this being the longest ever gap between a player scoring in an away match in this competition, which is 14 years, 269 days.
You really pick your moments, don't you, Kearney? Bastard.
Classic Tottenham. Spurs Watch says Tottenham's Premier League record on Saturdays this season: Everton 4-0, Brentford 3-1, West Ham 4-1, and Man City 4-0. Compared to Tottenham on Sundays, which is a 2-1 loss to Newcastle, a 1-0 loss to Arsenal, 3-0 win against Man United, 3-2 loss against Brighton, 1-0 loss against Crystal Palace, 4-1 win against Aston Villa, and a 2-1 loss against Ipswich.
And then Fulham.
Yeah. Jacko Cat says today's performance was the worst this season in the league. Worse than Palace, worse than Brighton. Without Romero, Kulusevski, Bentancur or Solanke, will never be consistent. Today, tactically, we got outplayed. But with this players, it's too easy to outplay us. It's easy to outplay us when we're making technical mistakes and we lose all of the second balls. It's not this manager's fault. We've seen this with every manager in the last years. It's a problem of individual qualities, too many mediocre players in our team.
I mean, too many mediocre players. Well, I guess maybe in the lineup yesterday, but in the mediocre players, or the players you would point to as being mediocre, they're the ones who actually played well. Yeah, I think he makes a good point when it comes to missing more Decky, Romero, Solanke. That quality definitely hurt us yesterday, for sure. But in terms of the team, was it too many mediocre players? I don't know if that's who's he pointing. Depends who he's pointing to, I guess.
I think the only players that you'd say are not mediocre in the team in terms of gameplay and making an impact: Pedro Porro, Destiny Udogie, who didn't play well yesterday, Pat Mate Sarr, and Son Heung-min.
And Maddison.
I think Maddison's done nothing to suggest that he's not.
I don't think he's a mediocre player.
He's got great qualities about him, but he's never shown it on a consistent basis for Tottenham that he can do the business.
All right.
Is that not true?
I think this season he's been pretty good. I think he has been fairly consistent.
All right. And Carly says, not again. I love this, Vicario. Oh, God.
He's not happy.
StatMuse saying the first Premier League player to score 10 goals in all competitions this season without taking a single penalty. Brenaldo.
Yep, fair play to him. And look, if he keeps getting goals, you can criticise all you want about whatever, but goals speak volumes. That's the truth.
Mari says, did Son put his hand on his thigh? Does he look like he's limping, or am I seeing things wrong? He did in that moment. He did.
It looks like he's holding his hamstring there.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Bloody hell.
What minute was it? That's first half, no? Yeah, because they were attacking that way.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so it should be fine, surely.
Yeah, that's what we said about Vicario.
Yeah, you're right. God.
Who scored the Premier League table since the start of November in 4 games? Yeah, we're sitting 4th in the last 4 games.
Crisis.
Yep. What can I say?
1 point off second.
1 point off second. It's a shame. It's been 13 games this season. Next up is Lily White Lab. Is that from yesterday?
Yeah, 1st December yesterday.
Overall, these issues come down to the fact that the squad is not big enough and there's still some major profiles missing to make this work. Injury crisis added to that has made it twice as bad. The Premier League is of a level now where every team will give you a game. If you have European fixtures too, you need a squad as big and filled with the quality as likes of Chelsea, and I don't think we're near that. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
When we have these amount of injuries.
Yeah.
I think when we've seen like players come on and make an impact, but unfortunately, players like Richarlison hasn't been fit all season. Odegaard hasn't been fit pretty much most of the season.
Hang on a second. What do you mean we're good enough when we don't have the injury crisis? Because we didn't have the injury crisis when we lost to Crystal Palace and Ipswich.
We didn't have but
and we couldn't handle the Thursday, Sunday then, and even when we rested players.
Okay, so we lost a couple of games. Doesn't mean we're not good enough.
But that's clearly not good enough if we can't win those games after Thursday.
Well, we won some big games as well, so that proves we are good enough.
We're not, because a good team would do it on a consistent basis.
No one's doing it consistently. That's the point.
Yeah, but you're talking about us. Who are you talking about that not doing it on a consistent basis, right?
No one is, apart from Liverpool.
But they're still higher than us.
Who?
Everyone that you're talking about.
Arsenal and Chelsea are 5 points clear. Yeah. 5 points that's fine. They're not. And
Arsenal have been through their injury crisis. We're in it now.
Okay, but I'm just saying that when we're talking about consistency, no one's been consistent this year apart from Liverpool. They're the only team in the league who've been consistent. You can put a thing about look at fixtures, and like barely anyone has been able to put a run of consecutive wins. Chelsea have done it twice this season. We've done it once. But look, they've won a grand total of one more game than we have. Like they haven't exactly been winning so many more games than us.
Yeah, and they've got 5 more points than us.
Okay.
And we've had probably one of the easiest fixtures in the first 10 games.
We've had City away as well. We've had on paper that's a difficult game. We've also won at Old Trafford. Chelsea didn't win at Old Trafford. We've also won some difficult games. Obviously, when you lose against like Palace and Ipswich, it's very frustrating. But when it talks about being good enough, the question is, how high is your ceiling, right? And our ceiling is very high. Our ceiling it shows that we are good enough. Now it's about getting there consistently. We haven't been able to do that. I concede that, and what we have to figure why we can't do it consistently, why we can't perform at that very high level that we are capable of consistently. But to say we're not good enough because we've lost these games, I just disagree with that.
But you're talking about Chelsea have only won one more game than us. How many more have they lost than us? Or how many more have we lost than them? It's got to be at least 3.
Yeah, 3 more.
What's the next one? Harry Brooks. Someone at Spurs needs to grab hold of Johnson and tell him you're not maximising what you can be. You found a great weapon of arriving into areas and finishing excellently, but you're relying on it and you could be so much more. I agree with that so much. You don't have to be world-class at 1v1s, but even if he shows willingness to just stay on the ball, carry it, and do with positivity and purpose, it'll add such a huge dynamic to this game and how Spurs attack. Even if you don't beat the player, but carrying it, drag opposition or players away, creates gaps. Just be willing to stay on the ball longer and move with the ball would elevate him and Spurs attack so much. And I completely agree with that, to be honest.
Yeah, completely. I think Brooks is always very good. Yeah, I think Johnson, he needs to do more. Of course, I think you should always demand more from your players. As much as he's scoring goals, he shouldn't rest on his laurels on that, and he should, expect more from himself. But, as long as he is scoring, I'm not going to be pointing at him too much when it comes to big issue problems. But of course, when he's putting in performances like yesterday, even if he does score, still not enough.
All right. Well, there you have it. That is how the internet did react to the game yesterday.